Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Fab and Build. I'm Ron, and today we are working on the TIG Rod filler rack. Right? We've got this here. We went ahead and fabbed all of this up in the shop. We're going to show you how we actually got this done. I put a back brace on it. Main brace here, 36 inches wide, 28 inches tall. The panels inside are 26 inches tall, 6.5 inches wide, 2 3/8 inch holes. And then I've got this handle. There's about a 2-inch spacing up here. I made this extra long in case I had a little imbalance in rods or something. If I had some shorter unused rod that might have slipped back if I ever take this off. Unbolt the 5 bolts down here. I've got plenty of handle to grab us and carry it and move it wherever I need. Anyway, we're going to get busy on this and show you how we got this done. Thanks for coming in. Got a drawing. I don't know if you can see that, but it's going to be pretty basic. It's going to come across here, come down on both sides. Going to have the 45-degree angle piece, and it'll go across the bottom. The top is 36, the bottom is 30. They're going to come down roughly about 25 inches here or thereabouts, and then we're going to miter across, do the 22.5 degrees on each joint. Join those up. They should be roughly in the neighborhood of about 4 3/8, 4.5 on these angle pieces on the outside measurement. So anyway, we're going to get busy on that. Okay, so I've put a backer piece in here and I put a spacer up top so this doesn't kick so hard that way. So we're going to see how well this does. Okay, get my shield on and we're gonna cut this. Real quick. Gonna come in 1 3/8 inches. All right. I guess I was shoving that saw just a little too hard for that. I guess that's an overload protection circuit built into that little saw or something. All right, got these. The next thing that we're gonna do for these panels is we're gonna come through and we're gonna start measuring in 1.5 inches from each side and then measuring up from the center of each circle. Gonna make an 1.5 inch line here, 1.5 inch line here, circle, 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 circles, all the way up. Then we're gonna take and move these. Once we get them lined up together, we'll do the, get these put together, get them on the drill press, put a block of wood underneath it, and I've got a 2 3/8 hole saw that I bought just for this, so we can drill these holes out all the way up. I will make my 45-degree cut before I do all of that. In fact, we'll just do that next. Get that out of the way. So we're gonna come over. How that works out. Two and a half. And then I know I come down 22 from here and it just works itself out. Now, see if I can prove my theory and not be wrong on this. There it is. Bingo. Get this other one marked out real quick. All right. One of these days I'm going to upgrade to the Evolution. I think it's the 855 miter saw instead of my cold cut. I'll still keep that because that serves a purpose. I'll still have this, but that miter saw, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on that. Now, I wonder if I can get creative enough and square this up and catch both of these at the same time. Huh. I might have an issue here. Maybe. See, if I line it up on these two corners on this one, line this one up against that one, I should be good to go. Double check myself here real quick. Man. Man. Okay. Tighten those up just a little bit. We're off to the races. Yep. Sweet. There we go. And we got both of those cut. So we're good to go. Okay, so I have my panel here on my blueprints. It actually shows, I'll try to show you here. So I've showed you this before, but it's 1.5 inches up from the very bottom here to the center of that first circle. From the outside edge in is 1.5 inches. From center to center is 2.25 inches. Okay, so I know that it's 1.5 inches off this side over here, 1.5 inches off this side. As soon as I get the center mark for here, which is 1.5 inches up, I come up 2.25, 2.25, and so on. It changes off this top. It's not 1.5 inches from the top, so we have to go the 2.25 each hole all the way up from the bottom. So I want to make sure that I keep that in play. Like I said, just something light. Nothing heavy. There's that one. There's that one. That's some money right there. $2 1/4 here. This is my $2 1/4 mark here for that hole. So off of the center of every circle on each side is 4 1/2. Let me double check that to make sure. We're gonna burn 1 inch there. And that's, yeah, there we go. 4 1/2 on the money. Liking that one. Okay. So I'm just going to measure out 4 1/2 up till I run out of space, 4 1/2 up till I run out to the last one. And then we're going to do that on both panels, or at least one, then we can tack them together and then we can just drill it out. I don't have to mark both panels if I'm going to tack them together. So let me get the rest of this done and I'll be right back. Tack together, get the drill press set up, get over here and start drilling these holes. Okay, I'm going to do my best to try to hold this into place and tack it. What I'm going to do is I'm splitting the difference between each side. So I'm tack welding this halfway between on the center mark of these 1x1s. And that's what I'm trying to achieve, is have this a recessed look from both sides. And I'm hoping this is going to work in my favor. I'm just going to go slow and tack these in. Whoops. Tack these in as I can. And hopefully this will work out. If not, I may have to find out a different resolve for this. Okay. I knew that would happen. But once I get it tacked into place, I should be all right. Do this side a little bit better. Oh yeah, I like that. So I'm going to let both of these cool down just a little bit, then we're going to come back and we're going to weld everything out. We'll be back in a minute. right, everybody, that's gonna do it for the video today. I know it was a little bit of a long one, but we got all the way up to the TIG Rod panels. Man, I'm gonna have to go take speech lessons or something. I can't even talk anymore. Anyway, when we come back on the next video, we're gonna be able to get the TIG Rod panels that we created with the holes in it. We're gonna get those tacked into the main frame that goes around the outside. We're gonna get the back support done. We're going to get the handle on top done. We're going to drill all the holes in the frame itself to where that can be mounted to the cart. We're going to come back and drill holes into the cart and actually get those tapped out so we can actually mount that thing onto the cart. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. If you like what we're doing, leave us a like, leave a comment. Please subscribe if you would. We'd appreciate it. And you guys take care and have a good one. Be kind to one another. We'll see you next time right here in the shop.